Ngiyathokoza. Colleagues, friends, countrymen, can I invite you today in the different time zones to join us today at the book launch, which is a journey that we have redefined for ourselves. But before I do anything further, I would want to recognize a few people, a few guests who are with us today. I want to start with somebody who is special to our lives, who has been able to keep us together, and that is our father. It's difficult for me to call him our father, because we have been outnumbered, the ones who call him father. So he is better known as Umkhulu. There are more grandchildren and grandchildren than the 9 of us who are the children of Umkhulu Nomagogo. The count stands at around 72 of the grand and the great grandchildren of Ubaba, Solomon Utogo Masilela. We thank you, Solomon, for joining us today. And Umkhulu is 96 years today. He turned 96 a few weeks ago on the 5th of August, my apologies. We want to thank you, Umkhulu, for being with us and for being this shepherd, this stronghold of the family. And since August is still the month of Mama, I think I will recognize the guests in that order. I will start with Obo Mama. I will thank Umama Mfundisi for the beautiful prayer for opening Umsebenzi. Siyabonga Mfundisi Shabalala. We really appreciate you. You and the Lutheran Church in Manzini have always been with us as a family. And also I want to acknowledge and recognize our former Deputy President of Republic of South Africa, Umama Phumzile Mlambo, who is now an executive at the UN Women. And incidentally, Umama Phumzile Mlambo is a former awardee of the Magogoism Award, or recipient of this Magogoism Award. And she also in her life has something called 43, somewhere in KZN. I also want to recognize our Deputy Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies, Umama Pinky Kekana, who also has joined us. Thank you for holding this fort and making sure that these issues of digital content and digital divide are addressed in our country. Mama Kekana. And also I want to recognize our guest speaker for today, Umama Nados Bekele Thomas, who is a United Nations resident coordinator. And important than anything else is the fact that the United Nations is our partner today. So it is important and a very a huge milestone for us as a family and as a nation. And as I proceed, I want to recognize the presence of the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Eswatini, Baba Mandvulo Ambrose Dlamini. Baba Mandvulo, Prime Minister, siyabonga ukuthi ube nathi namhlanje uStobusisela siqine kakhulu. And also I want to recognize a former Prime Minister of Kingdom of Eswatini, who is equally a patron of number 43, and that is none other than Ubaba Absalom Themba Dlamini. Baba Dlamini, siyabonga kakhulu emlangeni wenwekunene. Equally in our midst, one of the persons who is in our midst is somebody who has walked the passages of number 43 Triloni Park, somebody who has been involved and who was also protected by the citizens of Eswatini, who is today our General, General Soli Shoke. We thank you, General Soli Shoke, for joining us. It is equally important and a milestone for all of us And when we talk of number 43, we can never finish it without mentioning the people that I have introduced. And I want to thank you all who are connecting from the different time zones. You are most welcome. You are warmly welcome in traveling this journey with us. This is a period for us, all of us, not only the South African citizens, not only the Masilela family, but the entire globe. It is encountered by a pandemic which has clearly devastated not only the economy of the countries, but the social cohesion. People have not been able to mingle. People have not been able to get together. We have not seen Umkhulu Masilela in over 3 months. The last time we saw him was in March. And you can imagine what is happening to a 96-year-old who usually is accustomed to seeing his children come around to him. And what it meant is he was looking forward to the celebration of the number 43 Tuloni Park event this year in June. And unfortunately, this event was never to take place in the normal way. However, we did still have a celebration. We had our Prime Minister of Eswatini attend the event in our absence, and Umfundisi Shabalala, to make sure that this event does not only sit in the shoulders of the Masilela people. It is now an event that is embraced by the community at large. We thank you for that. And the theme for this year was culture and freedom. And I think we'll have to continue next year with the theme of culture and freedom. We were meant to also recognize our Pan-Africanists who had ushered, who had laid the foundation for our freedom, for our independence, but never to see that independence, that freedom. None other than Stephen Bantu Biko from the Black Consciousness movement, and Ubaba Robert Mangaliso Sobukwe from the Pan-Africanist Congress of Tanzania. And we also were to recognize the Dr. Esther Mahlangu, an artist, Umamo Mgwalo, who is representing and holding the culture of South Africa very high globally. The first was going to have the youth share with us, and these youth are the youth that we know in the space of music. And these youth were carrying the flag of the importance of culture. And these youth are your Shoma Josie or your Nzikwane, your fast-rising Afro-soul artists. And of course, our struggle has always been supported by the Manzini Choir. They are still here 30 years later, and even more. And we thank them for that. The book, what happened? What happened is when lockdown happened, we were used to meeting, we were used to gathering as a family, and suddenly something was taken away from us. We then started to meet as a family on a daily basis. And we would talk, we would chat, we would invite Umfundisi to join us, and he would be there to debate the Bible. He would be there to tell us about things that were important around man and God. We also were discussing issues of economic growth. We were discussing issues around our politics. We were almost advising and providing cushion to each other. And this resonated very well amongst us until somebody in our midst decided, he said, this is worth telling a story. The fact that we are achieving this much and recording every evening, Ubaba Mukwena is amongst those who joined us and also gave us a prayer. And that planted a seed in our mind that let's tell this story. This difficult story, something good has come out of it. And this is what we want to do. That is all that happened. It's a family that went through similar difficult moments that each and one of us went through, and decided to document it and share it with you. We really appreciate that you have been able to join us today and be part of this journey in launching our book and telling our story during this difficult period. I want to thank you again, Ngithi nimavukekile kakhulu. You are most welcome. Ngithi nangiceda ngithi dlambili ingqondo beza dela amadoda sigatsha sapemvu akupemvu amambala ngodaka. Masilela.